Okay. Okay, so let's our programming. So today we will finish the kind of like last part. Like you need to learn about programming is like about doing the testing. Testing we call the unit test. First begin it will be also your last assignment. Just like suppose after you finish the assignment 3, you implement those like API including like post method, get method, and then the next follow-up is you need to, based on what you implemented, you need to implement called a unit test. So I will show you what you should do and then how to test. Like for example, you need to able like to check like what's the expected return code, maybe like 200, or like does the structure return value match what you receive. So that's what we need to do. You can either choose the modules, we call it the JS or the Mocha, but the one I will show you is using Mocha. So you can use it to test your or your like Happy.js, your API server, or your MongoDB, the queries. Okay. If you want to use other framework, let's say if you want to use Express.js, because Express.js is another really popular common framework using for implement the API server. So if you want to use Express for your project or like use for maybe for future, it's okay. So you feel free to use it. And the like the basic like the theory and how it works will be kind of same. Okay. And if you remember, sometimes we use the dash safe, so we'll be safe to your dependence. But for development, so it will be safe that. So it's like only required for your development dependency. Okay, so they are the modules for you to doing testing. And here's I give you some example in JS, but you need to do it implement in using Mocha, but it's pretty popular, kind of like similar. Okay. So also in the lecture right here, I will go through how can we write it. So what you need to do is that after you implement all these functions and then doing testing, so you should have called a test file with the script for testing your Happy.js, also your Mongo DBs like the queries. How can you test it? So what are the expected result at what's the status code, and then what's the return value? Does it match it? And try to give the report. So at least a PDF. Okay. So this one is the last assignment you need to do. And I said the deadline just like before the Thanksgiving, so you will be around have 1 to less than 2 weeks. But so far, if you are just like based on your assignment 3, it won't be really long, like difficult and long assignment. Okay, so it's pretty easy. Once like you finish the first one, just like copy and paste. Okay, just like duplicate, but you need to change the validation, the checking content. Then let's start about it. So for the Happy.js, we know everything we can refer back to the Happy.js example, and then let you request. Okay, so how can I start it, and then how can we mainly handle the validation and for the error handling for the Happy.js, and then always check they because they always have new firmware or new features comes out release, so always check it. Okay, even in this moment I told you what we are using, maybe they will be depreciation, so try to check the version. Pretty common the testing firmware we use Jax or color Mocha and Char. And here just ignore the chart because when we goes to ES6 and then the latest JavaScript, so there are some functions that are not capable. Okay, but as an alternative, Happy.js they also integrate together, so we can have another firmware under Happy.js you need to install, then you can replace it, but they are doing the same because they are using the same firmware. Okay, So far for testing firmware, you can using the JSON Mocha, or you can use both of them to do testing. Okay. How can we start to do it? So this one, for JAX, you need to know the background. So it's pretty, yep. They are different. They're different separate firmware. Okay. So the syntax, but just like I mentioned them together because they sometimes comes to, you can implement separately. Okay. So depends on you or for your assignment, or like if you want to use it for your project, then you can maybe just use Mocha. You can test both of them. Okay. And because sometimes when you only test your API server, or are you going to test your MongoDB, the queries too? Okay. So you can use Mocha to test both of them. Okay. You can choose, you can try both if you want to like getting familiar with both, because they are also popular. So I recommend you to try both, but you can, if you say, okay, I just want to finish my project or assignment, then you can just choose Mocha. It's okay. So that's why I give you one example, but you can look at it. And it's they do have some like more functions, and then you can easy to configure it. And then for Mocha, so also another flexible testing framework for Node.js. So for child is the assertion library, so you can work Mocha together. So we can align called the BDD, so the behavior driven development style. So you can define your own. And if you need to install it, so just use your npm, the node package manager, to install it. We always try to define the with a parameter, save that. So you need to pass it as a parameter, and then just is the one of it you use, and then maybe add type. So they comes together. And then one is called a super text. So we'll use. And after you start your project, initialize your project, you need to modify your package.json file. So you need to add a script. So if you look at your package.json, by default, when you initialize it, so we always say pass the exit and no testing. Okay. So you need to change the test to JAX. Okay. So this one will be okay. And after you start, then you just need to create name. So let's say if you have called a server.js, then you can call a server.test.js. Okay. And remember to create a new folder. We have a test. So this how the firmware, like when we execute code the npm test, then we know how to go to which directory and looking for the testing file. Okay. That's how it looks like. And if you want to use Mocha, then you can just replace it with the Mocha. And for the Mocha, so you can use the one I say is called a happy code. So happy, you can use, let me use, show you happy JS, happy, okay. Oh, I show you the right here. Okay, tutorial testing. You can refer if you look at Happy's their official document, so they will give you the tutorial. So if you go to tutorial and testing, the one of example they're using called the lab. So it will include, and if you pay attention to this part, is called the code. So this one, the code is based on the chart and the assertion library. So it will create like to be a small, simple, those library you can use. And because if you install it directly, if you try to install using npm install, so you cannot import it directly because they have a configuration issue. Because with the ES6, they asking for modules that is called like require, we can define constant or import it format, but they will mix because the syntax issue. So you cannot use it directly. So I recommend you can just use the add happy code to replace it. Okay. So it can help you save some time for debugging. Okay. And And then you can replace it with the test marker. If you want to, let's say if you want to, I want to use both of them. How can you do that? I will tell you later, but the trick is that you can modify your test. Then you will able to test both of them. For the query, maybe let's say I have modules and user.js, and I have a schema. If you familiar with the schema, then by the passing the value, and then I will export it and then match it. And for the documents, if you need to put those documents in your final report, like how do you test it, or for your API, if you want to show, you can just always showing the examples, like what's the type, what's the methods, and then for like authorization. So right here, you can put it down, and then also the endpoints. So you need to give me, okay, it's using which kind of methods, post, put, delete, and then what's the path, and then give me one or two sentences, and then like describe what's this path doing. So maybe what are the parameters? So are they passed through the like regular parameter queries? So what they're doing, types. So give me the description, and then also the body, if you're body or like path parameters. Here's the documents like for your final project, and also for testing. If you show me, okay, here you can refer to this example, like for this testing, I have the path like this, and then how can I doing testing? So you can do one by one, or if you execute npm test, it will list all the results. Okay, so it's better if you can tell me, okay, what the API you're doing. And then what are the expected response? It was the successful. So the code will be 200, okay, content. So are we returning certain values? And you can show me like this. If you got error message, so when you catch it, so are you going to return any error message? Maybe code 400, bad request, and then maybe give me some description. That's what you need to do for the documents. And for web program, you see a lot, right? We have like basic code 200. We always like message is okay. That means like request was successful. Okay. And if you see that like 400, so most of the time the message you receive is called a bad request. So that means the request is invalid. Okay. And for 401, unauthorized. So that means the authentication is failed. Or maybe you have some login passing password, or like pass certain session key, they are not pass it. And you should pretty familiar with 404, so it's not fun. So if that page is not exist, or the resources like you couldn't able to find it, then it returns like 404. That's what you can define. Of course, we use those pretty common code to represent certain states. And if you need to use other code for internal purpose, like use for debugging, you can define your own. Most of the time will be 500. The code 500 will be internal server error. Most of the time, if your query, okay, let's say if you pass the parameter to your Happy.js server, and then when you try to execute a query, but maybe your syntax error, or when you have, let's say if you return an array object, but you didn't handle it well, or if you return a null object and then you didn't detect it, and then try to get the items inside, or like try to get the element inside a null object, then it always return 500 internal error. Okay. And if you want to declare better for debugging, let's say for your team, then you can tell me, okay, maybe 501 is mainly for a null object, you're pointing to a null object, and 502 maybe is for maybe some curious syntax. That means I receive a correct content, but I cannot execute the query correctly. Okay, so you can define by your own. Okay, except those like we have pretty common code, then you can define your own. And also you can setting those limits, like how many requests on your Happy.js setting, or like response headers. So what the the maximum number of requests being allowed or like remaining, and then we set. Okay. Because mainly you focus on the web programming, but for programming part of it is the API server. So you need to know, but we cannot like with limited time, so we cannot go through all of them. So you just like have a basic kind of understanding what is the API doing, and then what's the MongoDB, how can you connect it? Okay, so if you are really interested to still working on this part, then you can try to work out and look at it. And then later, like by the end of the document, sometimes we will provide some contact information for supporting. So maybe like what's the support email, document URL. And I don't have time, but how many of you know how to use GitHub? Okay. Okay, so you all know. Okay, so I will recommend that for the project. So try to use the Git instead of like copy your files to your server, like using sudo nano. So maybe you are working as a team, so you can create a Git repo and then push all your source code to the file and add the files. And when you have any updates, maybe you need to upload to your server, maybe your VM or the AWS EC2 and test it. So you can just like push it to the Git repo, and then just maybe you can pull it down or do the Git code. And but it doesn't really cover in this course, but I will recommend you to do it this way. Okay. And if you do include it, then you are feel free to add this one. So far I quickly like cover what you need, then I will show you what we're going to do. And you should able to see I give you some sample code, right? So right here I give you some sample code. And for the project part, maybe you will tell me, maybe give me some structure of your for the your assignment. You don't have to do that, but if you need to tell me your structure of your project, you may be like based on if you have your app, your React app, and then maybe you have the source file, maybe you have some assets like form, you include some forms like image, script, or like other components. So just like tell me the script like this. In other formats, okay, but you can follow this sample structure to tell me how your projects like looks like when you're working on this. Okay. And mainly this part is the test. Okay, so you need to assign for the testing case. Okay. Let me start. So I will show you. Yeah. Yep. Okay. If you download the sample code, and I think I have some errors when I copy my files. Okay, and because I think when I copy my file, I think there's some crash. So, but okay. So right here, at least if you try to create a testing file under your testing folder. So let's say if I have a project right here, and then I initialize package.json, right? So you need to create a folder called test. Okay. So this is a basic. So because when your system try to search for it, so when you run the npm test, they'll go to this file. Okay. And then the next one is like first you need to require them import your original if you are testing your happy.js file, then you need to import it. Or if you want to test your MongoDB, so those SQL, so you need to MongoDB those queries. Then also you need to require that file. Okay, so this is a step. And then of course you need to import the mocker and also use the at happy/code. So for describing. So here here's a function called describe. Okay, so describe will pass a string input. So to telling, okay, so this one is what I'm doing. Okay, maybe if you want, I want to test the query to searching all records. Okay, you can do this one. And then I think before all right now maybe fade out, so it's already depreciated. But we can change the syntax called like before each and then after, so we can change it. And after that, we just like awaiting delete it. And if it's possible to create where you give a message, so if we are able like so try to create and save the user, right? So we pass the asynchronous function and then create a user with testing user and then pass it. So this one we have the called the save function. So it's like we are using in our user file and then expected if we try to retrieve the ID directly, it should be like to be defined and also like to be. That means like it should be matched. Okay. I will go back to here. Okay. And let's say I have an original the file, so you should be pretty familiar with the happy.js. We have the define all your server, the port, and then here would be the route slash and return hello world, right? And with the asynchronous function, initialize. Okay, so here's will be the one you use a lot. And then we have a start function. And if we need to running the testing, so we create a file, let's say example.test.js right here, and then put inside your test directory. So we have the lab and then import the lab. This one is from the happy.js lab. You may not need to use it. So depends on if we are using mocker, then we will import mocker. And then we have called the like after each, before each, describe and it. So this one is from the lab. Okay. And then initialize it with the server. So for the server side, we will modify. So if we are running that one, if you look at your previous code, so we will just like start the initialization directly. But for this one, when we start the server, we need to export the initialization. So right here, we try to export it directly as a function initialize right here. So the reason why we need to do that because we need to let the testing script to run the server. Okay. And here's the basic structure. Like we create the server, and then before each, that means before we doing testing, we need to initialize our server, and then after we finish all the testing, we will just stop our server. Okay. So before start it, and then once we finish the testing, and then just stop it. And this one just like testing response with the 200. So we try to start it, and then if we just get a get, we have different function like to equals, not equals. So we have put it a lot comparisons, and I will show you, but you can follow this one. Okay. And I would like to start. You can use with the example. or you can start with the happy.js, this one, and follow the steps. So I will recommend start with this one. And you can do it in this way. So let's say I want to create in class. Okay. So how can we start our project? If you already have a package.json and then you need to modify, it's okay. But if you want to start with testing, so I will just say start with initialize y. So I will start this one. So I have a package.json. So if you look at the default example right here, the script test have nothing. Okay. So it's just an echo error and then no test specify and then exit. So it will quit. So we have no testing file. So you need to do is that okay, if we need to use the JS right here, then we need to change it. Right here, we will use the happy.js lab. So I need to install the happy.js right here. So I start with the npm. Then we will install the first one. We save it to the development environment. So I will use the happy/lab. So you will install it, and then next will be the. Also, you can install them together, so you can put them together. But this one I'm just showing you. We can do it separately. And while we are waiting, I will copy the files. So this one is called the. Okay. Okay. Then you may ask a question. Then do we still need to install the happy.js server? Do we need to? If it's a new project, we do need to, because they are for different use. So if you need to use it, then remember to install it, and then like add happy/happy. That's what we need to. If you need to use Mongoose, also you need to include Mongoose, and then you can like save. So save it to the dependency. Okay. So we also install this one. If you look at the package.json file, let me open it. Okay, so you will see we have two files, like two directories. One is called dependency. So right here happy.js and Mongoose, they were installed and then with the version. Okay, here's the reason why we using the dash save, because those version is helping us. If you using Git, we are not uploading the no modules file. Actually, it's a pretty big files. Let's say the no modules, we never upload to the Git. Okay, so if you need to implement the .node file, so remember at the piece and know the need the node modules. Okay, and those like dependency or development dependency, after you save it, so once you download it, download the JSON file and execute the node install, and they will automatically help you to download all those modules. Okay, so you can save the time to do that. And right now we use the called the happy lab and demo. What do we need in this moment is the called the happy slash code. So we will install one more happy install happy code. Install it. Okay. Yeah, I would like to show you how it works. So I just start with the really basic from the example, and then we can do I will call it like server.test.js. And then I will add a new folder called test folder and then save it into a test file. Okay, that's how the structure looks like. And if you follow the example right here, because it used the code lab, right? But we are not putting it, so I need to change the directory. So I go to the parents folder and then looking for the server. Okay, and then I just need to import 3 modules, and then from the lab I will export the function after each, before each, and describe it. Okay, so right here will be follow the example right here for testing. And from the example, right, if we're using the Happy.js default testing, so they will recommend using a lab and testing. We will start with this part first. So I will replace it with a test file. Okay. So we can start with the testing file right here. So you need to modify the package.json and replace it. Okay, and save it. Okay, so far for until this step, so we already modify everything. And if you want to test it, and then let's see if we are missing something, then we can use the npm test. Okay, so right now you see we save the output. So we try to like using the lab to pass it. So we try to get the response with 200. So if we pass the test case, so it will showing, okay, one test is complete and how long it does it takes, does it occur any issue? Okay, so here's the really fundamental one. Then how about Mocha? Okay, so if you're interested, we always are looking for the like Node.js, Mocha, and because this one for the Mocha we have the npm, or we need to check their testing framework. Look at their documents right here. Start with the npm. So we will check the documentation. So also we can able to see from the documentation. Also, we are able to go to the Mocha's default homepage, and it will tell you like different features and then how can we start it. So let's say we start with the installation. So if you see the global, that means once you install the Node.js, we always have called a global Node modules file. Okay. Sometimes you can have like dash global or dash global. It's okay. And then mainly is we need to install the Mocha. Okay, so right now we start with the example. So with the npm Mocha. So this time we need to start with the Mocha and then store it. And then okay. So right now you see the Mocha comes out. So we add to the development dependency. For the Mocha, it shows other like describes an example, and we are mainly will test with original. So I will give you the original code. You can follow. Let me see the for if the okay. Okay. If you download from the example code, so I want to like, you can do it with this one as a beginning. So we can test with the Mocha. Okay. So Mocha, I give you the server, and also we have the user. User is try to connect with the schema database like Mongoose. Okay, try to install it, and then we will test it. And then for the testing file, you need to have a folder, and then I already gave you two example files. So if we need to test the server side, so we will connect to with the server, initialize it, and then with the describe, and then give a but it in what is missing. So it missing the marker. Also, we need to import using the code. So we need to edit by our own. And then before like I remember this one, we need to change it, and then you just say, okay, start with greeting. So we make sure if we get the hello. So we are expecting the status code to be like 200, and then to be is matching the string return hello world. Okay. So if you doing together, then we can try to working together. Let me copy the code directly. Because let me copy this. Let me move the server. Paste it. And then for the server testing. Paste it. Okay. So if you're following, what do we need in the beginning? Right here. So if you look at the example, so we need to try to import. So if we need to import, let's say I want to use the start with the app right here. So I'll just like copy this part, and then with the initialization, because I'm using a Mocha right now. So I just need to change it to Mocha, and just like change to Mocha. It's okay. But before I change it, I want to use the lab first. Okay. And then right now the package JSON, we are using the lab to test it. And once you receive the testing, because I didn't execute that test user.text. So if you want to avoid the problem like this, then you can remove it. So if let's say I don't want to test with my user in this moment, then I can take it out. Yeah, I need to connect to my MongoDB. Okay, but I didn't import anything, so I just like do it one more time and check what kind of things I'm missing. So okay, you say I couldn't find the server. Okay, server.js like happy lab. Then I need to check did I update it? Okay, so maybe I need to go back to the parent parameters. So it will be like this, and then run it one more time, and then what else am I missing? So this one before each and after. And here's a tricky thing because when I give you the example, because like before each, I remember it was like depreciate is not using anymore. So if we need to use it, then we need to change it like before each and after each. So like this, okay. So I change it. So we have described and it's right here. So based on this, like all the package. So so far looks fine. Then let's try again and see what others like possible message comes out. Okay. And then it's kind of like for the greeting message. Okay, if we fail, it will show okay the response with the greeting it failed the test. We get the hello response and then expecting something to be is not a function. Okay, so we will see for the expect right here we using the echo, so it doesn't match it. Then we need to go back to our server side. Okay. And right here, because we need to based on the return type, then we need to modify because for different language, we have different examples. And I would like to show you. Let's see. To be defined with okay. Server initialize server student. Initialize. Let's see if I miss something. So we'll try to change it to equal 200 to dot equals 200 like this. Okay. And because they have different syntax, sometimes for Mocha Labs, they do have their own syntax. So I gave you we may have a different version like Jazz, Mocha, and even the Happy itself. Okay, so you can choose the one you like or like you want to use, and then for the matching function will look slightly different. Okay, and you need to based on the one I gave you structure and then modify and try to like at least this one make at least one validation like checking works first, and then you can modify. And of course, like we have others matching methods you can use, and we can refer to. Let's say we have the code and show you right here, and then we have something like and to not dot equals, and then we have to like something only and then includes. We have lots of different using, and then for the function for the and we using the one of function is called expect, which like included for Mocha. So you need to change to Mocha and then change the syntax. So that's why let you to try. And then for Mocha also we have cost should. That means like we should return something or like expect. So if you see the function called expect we are using right here, so we are expecting for certain output. For char it including the should and then expect inside, but this time we change it to happy/code. Okay. And once you match it, then you can use different function. Let's say if you want to using right here, if you match it with the like this one, try to the DB will find something. Also, you can directly match it and then also return a promise right here. And then pretty common because we implement our Happy.js or our Mongo DB with the asynchronous function. So remember, use the async and await to wait for returns. And if you want to make sure like maybe the return value of the users like this one, the database connected, and then say, okay, it should have a length with 3. That means that the length will like this would be 3. And here's will be the functions. And then like sometimes they should equals to 1. Okay. And also if you remember, we have the arrow function. We can include the arrow function inside, so we can pass it. So if we're testing, so that's how it looks like the arrow function we are using. We are using the asynchronous function, and then define so the like the server dot inject with the path, and then what's the expected value. So we return it, the RES will be the response. Response was the status code, and then what's the result. And then results, and then we return as called the greeting. So what's the greeting? So return to equals. We like passing like this. So greeting is matched with our return value. Okay. So if you change the greeting to maybe via or result, then you need to change it to result. Okay. So result. Okay. So maybe you can start with this part, and then the next how can you import with the Mocha? So I would like to test it and then change the code. Okay, here's that will be your exercise to doing this part. And I will try to help you to fix this part. Okay. And try to at least try to take out the MySQL, because if you don't take it out and if you don't have MongoDB, and then you don't have a collection, then you will have an error. Okay, the error message. So don't test with the database. We can keep it later, and start with the server side first, Happy.js, and then test it, makes it works. Or if you still don't know what should you do, start with the Happy.js like sample with the lab, and then we can based on those source code to modify, and then install the Mocha, and then actually the hints right here. So right now we are using the lab, right? So we just need to require Mocha, and then Mocha right here, like this. Okay. And then because the Mocha will be doing the same, and then we need to change the testing to Mocha. Okay. But this part I will keep it right here. So start with the lab first. So after the lab is completed, then we will start with the Mocha step. Okay. Let's see how many of you are able to make it. And also I have more, but for testing, even we can test like objects, and then for some calculation. And let me see if I able to copy. Okay. If you want to follow, you may start with this first. Testing. And remember to create a testing folder so you can put everything under this and have a testing folder. And then based on your files, create the files.test.js. And then you need to modify the script to test, and then this the lab, and then it will read all those testing files. Testing route is right here. It's the chance, and then okay. Just like for actually for the Jest and also Mocha, the syntax they are not the same. If you see the source code I gave you to be, will be the Jest. Okay. So based on the modules like the firmwares we are using, we need to change the function for comparison. But right now you just like stick with the lab code first, and then after you finish this part, then we can try to use other modules, and I will come to help you.
Creating a happy server, creating a project with NPM, NPX, then create admins,
Okay, so you already and then install the package. Okay, so start with the really basic and fundamental one. So I would recommend you can try to start with the source code. Go to happy. Okay, right here. Okay, so you see the testing. Right? Okay, so right here we need to create at least a server folder. Okay.
Yeah.
Also we need to install the modules. So once for the lab, once it's for the code. So this tool will be using for testing. Okay. So
create a server, create a folder on server.
No. Just at least you create a folder for this class. You maybe like for any name, maybe test. Maybe like V14.
Yeah, create a folder on V13 lab.
Okay, right here, so you can stay here. And then, so under this, you already have a server file.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then can you open the server file? Okay, and certain file. Okay, so you already copy it. Right?
Yeah.
So we export this part is done. And then what's the next step? We need to create a new folder for test. No, I'm just under this. So test, and then we need to create a file called the server .test.js.
Okay, new file.
Yeah, create a new file. So how can we create a new file? It's a JS file. Normally, how do you create a file?
You just go to VS Code.
Okay, then you can do it under VS Code.
Seems trying to get it now.
Okay, so try and then try to copy that like normally I would name the file is same as the the file you want to test. So if I want to test a server, so I will name server.test.js, and then you can copy and paste those codes. And then after you copy it, try to install the required package. So mainly will be the lab code.
So what should I call the new file you're going to create?
Called the server.test.js.
Dot test.
Okay, so the reason why we naming this is more like with the structure, like also more like consistent. So I will know, okay, this one is matched with the server file, right? Okay, that's something. And then just go back and copy the source code.
Copy the source code from like,
Oh, no, online first. I would like to let you have it, because the one I gave you, you need to import the package and modify.
the copy of the code.
Yes, copy this one. Hold on, it's a synchronize export, not this one. Hold on. This one is separate, scroll down.
Yeah.
Scroll down. Okay, hold on. Testing this one. Okay,
And so,
yes, so try to start with this part first, okay.
it's doing a weird thing, I'm not sure what it's doing. I currently have the server, and then, like, it should have come up here, but it didn't. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
NP initialize it.
Oh,
Initialize with A. So you are able to get the sample thing. You don't have to start yourself. Just like without NPM. We really need it. Always start with this part first. So this step we always do. Okay, after you copy this file, first things like what they give you is called the example.test.js, right? And I would recommend you always have it consistent. So if you want to test your server, I always give it as the same name, so you can rename it. And then second, why now after you copy the source code, so look at those that you try to import the files. And mainly we need to install the happy lab and happy slash program. So that means right now you need to install. Yes, so you will install this one, and then how about the lab? Actually, it's the same syntax, but just like basically. Just like so if you look at the name, so you add this and then look at your package of JSON. Right now, and okay, so you're working on the server side. I think you're using the edge one. Oh. Yes. Okay. Make a new one inside of that for okay. Then because the other ones in that back end showcase, which is for the back end from the corner. Oh, no, this one is, trying to say, what is the program coming out? Okay, so this is example, like, if you want to tell me the project, you can show it like, sometimes if you, if you have some.
Yeah, you see like
they want to, tell.
Yeah,
first, or like, if you very, the rest of how the structure looks like. So inside, maybe if this show me an so you maybe have, let's say some components, source files, so you can tell and give me the answer description. Okay. So that's why I just give you some example if you want to do the document. Like in my slides PowerPoint, like part of it, and yeah, we talk about some like okay, how can you put that in the space? So you can refer to that, and this one so it's like about your using the project. Okay. Similar, yeah, try to build something. Okay, if you say I don't know how to use that, then you can also just tell me, okay, using a table or like bullet points, okay, you can, okay, just give me some instructions of what those things. So I just want to let you know how to do the application. Oh, okay, standard. It's not exactly standard, but like so far we are doing versatile to tell you about it. And then when I'm back to the left is kind of the last part. It's like how can we do testing? We could do the unit test. Okay. So I asked him, so we'll be like this like testing files and then like test.js and for the assignment, I asked you to use that again. So I'll cover it because I will give you but today so that we will give it a time. So start with the happy.js example. Okay, what's the example?
Yeah, for example.
This one actually is like tricky because you can start with this one or I would if like it's the first time that you can do it using the happy. When you open the happy right here, okay, start with this part first. Okay, so if you look at the document, how those two will be the framework we need to use. Where's the left and then the right? Okay, so you can combine two of them together because you don't usually have to use them. And then how can we start out of it? npm image, and then you can use the permission, and then you can copy the source file. So they on the server set up. So it's the same. It give you example for the it's like and then just this one is telling you try to export it and then start it and we just give this article we only focus on testing. Okay. So, and then maybe another part will be okay. And for testing, I would recommend for the consistency. Yeah. For example, then I would server. Just use the file name. If you create a happy server, then we call the server. And you should able to know the structure like this. You can have it. We try to import the lab, happy lab, right here. We have all things we need to and this one is from the lab. We have to about the so it's the intuition. So when we started, when we have tested, so this one is called the message. Okay, if I want to test slash, then I start my server. So before it, I will initialize. That's why, yeah, if you look at the code, we change a little bit. We try to export the initialization stuff in like instead look like so because we only start initialize because we need to for unit test, so we need to export the function.
Yes, I think it very quickly, they should go to the word like expiry date. So I put like some results in there, I go and stop, all the breaks, it stop taking it. Then go grab your, like, server.
Yes, yeah.
For first, right, and then we'll kind of use.
And then right here will be all the.
Or could just be my impression, yeah.
So, this one's only some, but if you try to, you go test.
Imagine the feelings.
If you are not
Because
able
that's
to
made a big difference.
testing, then of course you can.
I'm tired.
Get time in the band, like, test for different things, but this one we only want to test with, diagrams, yeah, and then I
No
think,
matter what.
suppose we will receive it. So I want to make. So if you copy all these things and then.
I mean, I
you
would
modify
say
the script, so this one
that's
is.
really good. So could you see my easy mathematics question? Or could it be a combination of both?
And then we will just grab any testing batch. Okay.
So I don't know, like, the mathematics question, I have, like, what's the point of doing anything right?
Message.
Yeah.
So like the first one is pass.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you get
Yeah,
any
it's-
error message, you can
That's
for
where we
example,
stop
I
idle
use
day.
the input file, then you get the file on this day. If you're able to do this step, then use my sample. And because the sample code I gave you, I didn't import quite the.
I'm sure I should.
And then for the syntax, the other one I gave you is, to be.
They'll sure help me, and then, like, and,
So you
like,
can
I
change
change
the
the
matching.
next
So
one.
for different modules, like different matching, functions, so this one is the lab or I think more. If you're using Jest, will be. So. Yeah, so if you look at it, so we have multiple, I cannot say, okay, this one is using this one, but try to learn, look at the dots. And pick up one time. Why not we just like, start with the, happy left, so you can follow this one stuff, you can, copy this one, and then modify, and make sure you're able to like knowing how to, what kind of things to modify. Kind of like,
And you sent the assignment for you.
yes, I would recommend Jest and but of course in the, I given you, so, also I will give you the more example, like more example. Okay, yeah, so, it's not 100% necessary.
I used to have intrusive thoughts, but like.
But I know it's really.
I don't know, like.
Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Web programming is based. Let to me about
My.
web programming is really.
All that crap, like, I can stop thinking about it, so.
Even the why.
Yeah.
Web backends. So I couldn't provide anything. So sorry, I just like skip. I sometimes skip a quick example of it. So I know for this part testing, it's hard. So if you couldn't able to add to your project, then I would count it as a bonus. If you're able to do it like that, yes, I will give you a bonus point like this. Yeah. Okay, no problem. And like for this one part of it, okay, if some of you like have a faster progress, I would recommend you look at the mocker first. Like how can you use mocker, import it, and then change the syntax? Because like for different framework, we have different syntax. Okay, so I say check the example code I gave you to be is the syntax comparing is for Jest. Okay, if you need to use for mocker, then we need to change a little bit, or not the same. The one using for the lab because they integrate with others. So you can choose the one you like. I just like for your project, if you want to add it, it's kind of a bonus. I know the time that we pretty much. So if you're able to do the unit test, then you can choose the one you're familiar with. I will recommend using Jest or Mockup because they are pretty popular, like we using for testing. Okay, but start with this part, able to do it, have a basic understanding, have a picture like how can we do the unit test. And if you're able to do that on top of it, then you can build on it and then change it. And you can use the example I gave you, the server, then look at it. If you're able to look at what kind of package you need to import, and then how can you change the directory and then test it and modify and then use it. Maybe you can stay with the lab like what I gave you, show you in the demonstration. So I stay on the happy lab. Okay. But actually those code I'm using the Jest for testing. So but I still not yet tell you how to do that. So later I will tell how to use it. Okay. And If you're able, then you can start to use the mock-up. Okay, and you're able to start the testing.
Sorry, sir, test?
And did you modify the package.json?
No.
I know I have.
I experienced you call.
Okay.
So how do you modify it?
Okay, so if you have a test, go back to source, and then you have a, so maybe you have not yet initialized. You know how to initialize that, npm project?
NPM in there?
Yes, okay, and then you can input the information, and then you will have a package.
How do you, I got it all set up, I had to do the package, how do you start?
Okay, npm space test. So you can now. Let's see. Okay, just server test example.
So that's where the,
So,
this is where I changed.
yeah, suppose you are using the lab. Didn't find the file diagram.
Yeah, it's like, do I have a bunch of money? I'll quit them all.
Okay, you have the.
Automate stuff, so we can.
But I got Spanish one because that was more caliber. Yeah, it's a 1916 variant, which is a short one. Yeah, my dad said, oh, you should not get email me. I said, okay, I'll see that. And I said, let's go go and send me one.
Very first shot. Yeah, it just gets worse.
I got, see, I think that's my uncle's property outside her.
What is this, I guess, keyword, what is that kind of stuff?
Um,
Is that
Plus, just anything.
Anything?
anything.
Okay, so.
What was the first?
Yes, example, so,
So my uncle's property.
Okay, I
Outside
will,
her.
kind of
It's got a call. and, like,
example
see what
with,
I can do.
Yeah.
Do some of this. I'll see how. I think I am before I shoot. Yeah, it's like Corey should have.
Let's say file name.
City file.
Yeah, save file name. Maybe if we try to
I'm gonna
grab
think
it,
that
and
I
then
agree, but if it's polarized.
let's see.
But it's polarized with somebody in World War II, he didn't care.
Make it server.
Yes.
Yes,
so
yes,
it's
yes.
business order, I don't know, can they try water, and I don't like that.
Yeah, he did like, he carved. And carved stock has a block of wood, all of that. But then it's not, I can think apart, now they put it back together and I need to get steel frames to accommodate. He had like 50.
Actually for testing, the split, so we will. That's why we need to create folders called test, yeah, so we will.
Money
know-
wasn't really transferred, it was just like you want it. Okay. So. You can see out a lot further, so the side picture is not great. So, it gets placed like 50 times soon, the rest of my beaver or something like every night or 12. I'd be interested to see it.
Is it because of we with that?
Yeah.
When you find, I want to see any using.
Maybe you just, bolt on that mountain, yeah.
Like, to have all the right, but simple to fully.
Okay.
Should be easy, but I think for those 3 years, we have, right now is like a bad year. The Spanish mountain is like very well made, we're very well made.
You have to be very careful.
Not to make sure the spring doesn't go flying.
So that, like, there was also making sure the safety is related to the right.
It has to be on fire.
And I remember what it was, I look at a YouTube video every time, I got it wrong one time. It was a- So like, it popped up,
So this one.
and you have to sit there and jack, 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 try to get it back.
And so.
But then-
So this one's.
Doing this range part, I have the web between my thumbs.
So we can combine them together, add happy slash F and then add space F.
So now I run with a t-shirt.
And then you can split five.
That's what- Putting that back together is kind of a
So
pain,
you can
it's
right
like the
here, so very similar.
in cap, like.
So we have,
So you can find like at least tension.
Like start server and get.
It can really, you can extract raw, depending on how tight it is, I've had to grab a t-shirt around before.
And here we try to.
Camelot pliers.
So we need to extract that. in
It's just
user.
removing the extractor, you go further down.
So this one, so we somehow.
You squeeze it, and that's why it's long.
Okay.
And then you're
So for testing,
on the strap, and then.
And then we try to.
It's a process. There's no, no, there's no.
So right here, we make each left.
is easily user.
And right here we have the extract function, so we.
Actually, I was a virtual parent, but we have an 1898 was.
So what happened?
Here's ideal strap.
That's.
Because I made.
What's the extract function? Organization, so we need to in, that's. Okay. So
Because
this one's
1898 actually-
No, that's like that stuff.
I got 1898. I have 1890. Yeah, boy.
Now you're so-
And
I think you have to take that break.
you see the initial and stuff. So we have to create a function. There's a reason why,
Maybe they've got these actual reports and the polls to get where it started. Basically, if there's case separation.
So this one is based, okay, so if
It goes in the fold, it
so
goes
let's say I
down,
want to have
it's the
it,
magnet,
let's say we
it's
form
the
like.
Which is really neat. Safety
That's
How Mauser was.
So
Yeah.
right is what's the status? Is it equal to 200? Yes. So it's called a unit test. So maybe later what's the return value?
We can like, we should have to start.
And but start with everything, so we need to try to execute the example and change the scripts and then test. So this one's under package.
Which would explain why I continue to have these.
Right here.
Yeah.
Testing, you need to change it. And after you complete all everything, then you will be able to, like if you want npm test, then you should get a testing message. Okay, let's say first one. Then it works. So start with this one first. And then if you get it, then you know how to do that, and you will step two. Use my example code. Don't use that. Use that. Use that. So if you don't know how to do
Now I
that,
don't know
I
how
have
I
a schedule for you. So start with.
It's like, you just gotta force yourself, like.
How can you test the server? If you're able to do that, the next step is how can you use the mock, like instead of replace them. They're pretty similar, like, but you need to know the syntax. Okay, did you check your packet objects to have a directory? Yeah, I think you missed the directory. Okay, yes.
So where would I find? Where would I find that?
So you can use the comma and then with the double quote. Let me see if I can show you. I guess because you missed the directory define the test, you say why is test? So let me show you because
But for some reason, when I'm saving Zoom videos, I don't going anywhere.
okay, I don't have it. Okay, this one I don't have it. If well, I'm just in case because it doesn't know how to grab it. So I think we can use the one is called let me try to get it npm direct test and then testing specific. Let me see some example.
Yeah, should be one shoot some yesterday before I got a box in.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah. That's similar areas, like, people was like, instead of these very, instead of people in there, you can do not too bad. Yeah, I don't think the good there, I use on that. The good there.
So long, yeah, so. If I were going to keep it fast, and just bring it aside. Plus one.
The easy.
Not manufacturer market.
Origin,
No.
the manufacturing.
If no, or they're not test for how to test a modify.
And then G30.
Yeah, change it to text. Just like
It's a
um,
shorter.
Not, okay, short of that, because we just one file is okay, and then, directly. Yeah, that's. Let's see,
We're gonna do.
I know, I meet my buddy, maybe once or twice a year. He has some San Antonio.
Okay, go back to next, and we move the, Bibles. Yeah, I don't think you didn't put a server like that. Okay. Okay, so we need to,
So I didn't have it in the last folder.
yes, but, yes, yeah, so, sometimes we can, I remember we can, define code, yeah. Double quote, put the directories, and then put the test, like test quote. Yeah, suppose like by default, because, for the node modules, like, they will check if we try to do testing. So we must create a test folder, so we will automatically share under this. And then everything is like update, and then with file format looks like .text.js, and then we just text. So you can watch for the JS with or like if you want to test something directly, then of course you're not. You may start with the format like this, and then the next try to use and then change it just okay, test it like test and result.
Yeah, here's the.
So this one is just like testing with this one. And if you find it really, then you can just use small. Okay, so when you you can choose either one. Okay, so I just want to let you, because this one kind of like have a last of the course will be learning how to relation. Okay, yeah. So you can choose either one. Because, with some people like and you, but only one thing you need to be careful is the single years. So you need to choose on look at that. But of course, I will spend the most one more task to cover, yeah, to show you how to do that. Okay. And
All those times I've sent a request to record the Zoom meeting, and I didn't realize that I didn't have to hit record. So I've sent all these requests to record Zoom meetings, and I recorded none of